Well, to give us their view on the latest ANC leadership developments, I'm joined by Kganki Matabane. He's the CEO at the Black Business Council. A very good afternoon, sir. Thank you for joining us. So what's the BBC's reaction to the election of this new ANC leadership with President Ramaphosa being re-elected?
Good afternoon, Nompumelelo and the viewers. The Black Business Council would like to congratulate the newly elected ANC leadership led by President Ramaphosa. And in particular, would like to congratulate them for electing 3 women out of the 7 positions. They elected 3 women to the top positions, and they elected a woman for the first time for the Treasurer General position. That for us is a good development, and we hope that the corporate South Africa can also learn from that and make sure that women are given what we call positions of responsibilities, not positions of support. They should be given core businesses so that at least the women can be empowered. Girl children can also have role models in serious positions.
So as President Ramaphosa pursues his second term as ANC leader, what are you hoping that he's going to do differently? Because you have been expressing in the past weeks, in the past days and weeks, your dissatisfaction with things like the energy crisis, a lack of nurturing of SMEs and so on and so forth. So what are some of the things that you'd hope that he'd do differently or better?
Yes, now that he seems to be enjoying the leadership, enjoying the majority of the support, we were advising the president to be more bold, to be more decisive, because Rome is bending. We don't think there's time for celebration and time for speeches now. We think the time for long speeches has long passed. We were expecting the president to be more bold in dealing with the issues of security, the issues of crime, the issues of economic growth, unemployment, focus on small businesses, and then making sure that the lawlessness that we are experiencing in South Africa comes to an end. And again, you are right. We can't be experiencing 12 hours out of 24 hours of load shedding, and we basically take it as normal. That is abnormal, that is not acceptable, and we're hoping the new leadership will be able to deal with that decisively. It has to be dealt with, otherwise economic growth won't happen.
Absolutely. So, of course, we know that many ANC members are celebrating today, but ordinary South Africans are not, because obviously the living conditions are negative, businesses are struggling to keep afloat, people are struggling with the cost of living and so on and so forth. What are some of the key interventions that you're hoping that President Ramaphosa will be spearheading? Or, of course, we know that there are a number that he's spearheading already, but the issue of policy implementation continues to be a negative.
Yeah, we hope now that he's more empowered, we hope that he will make changes to the executive and make sure that those people who are not doing their job in the executive, in government, are removed and moved, so that he can only be left with people who will be implementers. I think we've had a lot of promises, a lot of speeches, and I think that time has long passed. We need now to focus on making sure that the policies that we have are effectively implemented. We need to make sure that as we are getting into 20 years of the broad-based Black economic empowerment in 2023, we need to make sure that we cannot be having 5% of ownership of the economy being in Black hands. That has to move to much higher percentage, like 50%. We need to make sure that the 40% set aside on public procurement that the president has been talking about for over 2 years is put into a legislation so that women can be empowered in business. And you know, when you empower women, you are empowering the entire community. So it's important that those become the focus. For example, another thing, we cannot have a situation where people are just mining illegally. People are walking into our members and say we want 50% or 30%. to be given to them without following any process. That is lawlessness. We will expect the president to make sure that he deals with that lawlessness. If he has to move to get the soldiers to deal with, let that be, because that erodes business confidence. No one would come to invest in South Africa if they know that someone will just walk into their business and demand 30%, and then they expect it to be given that. So those are the things that we need to, the president needs to deal with. And again, we want to see a much decisive president, a much bolder president, because he has been given an extra mandate, an additional mandate to govern the ruling party.
Yeah, I mean, to your point about him being more bold and more effective, time doesn't wait for any man, as we all know. And of course, whilst there's a victory today for him in particular, and for the ANC going forward, 2024 is around the corner. And many people do feel that the ANC has spent its time, and it's managed to achieve a number of things, and it's managed to not achieve certain other things. And therefore, people may be voting very strongly against the ANC. Doesn't that worry you? Because, that is not even 2 years away. And we know that it takes time for policy to be implemented. And they have a very little time of window time to actually make things happen in the way that you would prefer.
Yes, I think if they can just implement because for us, we've got different members from different political parties, so we are not promoting one political party. But what we need is to make sure that we implement policies, we implement the National Development Plan, we make sure that we grow small businesses, because for us, that's where, or the only place where you can create jobs and grow the economy. We need to make sure that the young people of South Africa are employed. You cannot have a situation where we continue with the 70% youth unemployment, because that on its own is a danger to democracy. So for us, if they can just focus on implementation and make sure that the policies that they have are implemented by government, and then people who are not implementing should be removed, because there's no need to keep someone else there who's not implementing the policies of government. So implementation should be the focus.
Indeed. Kganki Matabane, thank you very much for your time, sir. He's the CEO at the Black Business Council.